Good afternoon. My name is Tom Hartman with the Hartman Law Firm. It's commonplace these days to think as entrepreneurs as bold risk takers. But a wise entrepreneur is someone who knows when to take risks and when not to take risks, to be very careful. A successful entrepreneur is someone who sets anchor and core policies for his or her company so that the company, from a financial, HR, compliance, and legal point of view, is well structured to allow the company to proceed in a fiscally sensitive and proper way. Now, many of the legal issues that I'm going to talk about today can be done very cost effectively and cost efficiency, and yet they'll save the company and the entrepreneur thousands and thousands of dollars, great anxiety, and will help lead to the success we are all ultimately seeking. Let me give you some examples. First of all, you start a company. And over time that company grows and is very successful, so you create a number of subsidiaries or brother and sister companies. So from one company, one LLC, one corporation, now you have 4 or 5. And you find that in essence, those 4 or 5 companies are really doing the same thing. And yet you have to have special state reporting, federal reporting, tax reporting, accounting. You have to track profit and loss separately for all those 3 to 5 entities, when in reality it's one entity. So you decide, I want to get rid of all that and have a single entity and make the accounting, the administration, and everything simple. Well, that raises a number of legal issues. First of all, you set up those companies for a reason. It may have been for accounting reasons. It may have been for legal protection reasons. So if you dismantle that, you want to carefully assess the assets and liabilities and risks associated with each one of those companies. Then you might want to look at whether you want to terminate the companies, the LLCs, the corporations, the partnerships, or do you want to merge them into another company? It has significant differences one way or the other. If you terminate them, you may get rid of potential liabilities, but you may not be able to sue somebody off of that old company or corporation or limited liability company. On the other hand, if you merge them, there's a surviving company, LLC or corporation, and all the assets and liabilities of the old company merge or go forward and stay in the new company. It's something to think about very carefully as you thought about building the company up. Now you seek to streamline it. Make sure you're careful in the process you use to streamline the company. Now, another element of success is sales. You, as the entrepreneur, were the key salesman in the beginning, and now the company's too big for you to be the key salesman, the only salesman. So you want to hire salespeople. How do you incentivize them? You put them on a commission program. This is very important because at this point, everyone's excited, everyone's empowered, everyone's enthusiastic about growing the company. And the salespeople are going to go out and be ready to sell your business, sell your product, sell your service. Very important that you be careful here. In setting up your commission program, make sure you're clear about whether the commissions are based upon gross revenue brought to the company, net profit brought to the company, whether the profit or the revenue has to actually be received and actually be on the books and come in cash, or if it's good enough to just have completed the sale. What do the words in the commission agreement mean that the person aided in or assisted in or supported in the sale? What does that mean? Does the person, the commission salesperson, have to have done the work solely, or can he or she have been a second chair to someone else who's getting part of the commission? And most importantly, what happens when the salesperson leaves the company? Does the sales commission continue after the person leaves, or do you intend for that commission to stop when the person leaves? Very important that you set those parameters in the beginning, in writing, so there's no dispute when the person leaves. And here's a third example. What policies do you have in place? What human resources policies do you have in place? Do you have an employee handbook? Do you set forth what happens if there's discrimination based upon race or sex or ethnicity or religion? What should happen then? Suppose that somebody suffers or believes they've suffered some form of discrimination. Where do they report that? And if they're supposed to report it to their supervisor, what happens if the supervisor is the source of the discrimination? Do you have a policy that explains that you go over the head of the supervisor, or that you report it to HR or to the general counsel? What are the procedures for that? Having those procedures in place can provide a significant defense, a significant legal defense to the company, which you wouldn't have if you didn't have the policy set up. Do you have a policy on overtime? Are you clear on the difference between an independent contractor and an employee, or between a wage-earning employee and a salaried employee? Do you have a policy on non-disclosure of confidential information, on competition, on protection of trade secrets, on the use of email and the telephone and the computer? All this stuff should be spelled out as your company has grown. And then make sure that the employees sign the handbook, sign the policies, acknowledging that they have read them and understood them. Then retain those written documents to confirm that the company and you have a common understanding of what you know and what our policies are and how we proceed. And if you take that kind of analysis as an entrepreneur, then you're a wise entrepreneur. You can still be gutsy. You can still go on the leading edge. You can still follow your instinct and use your wisdom and your brilliance to grow the company. It's genius what some entrepreneurs can do these days. And yet, the wise entrepreneur is the one who says, I'm going to do all that, but I'm going to protect my flank and make sure that I have carefully assessed those areas where there are a great risk to the company and that we can handle cost efficiently. And so in this way, you allow the company to proceed and you to succeed as an entrepreneur. Thank you. The Hartman Law Firm. When the chips are down, we give you hope and a concrete plan of action.